Welcome, one. Welcome, all. It's time for another exciting edition of The Show with No Name. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to
Bone Radio.
And you know what time. You know what time it is. It's time for liftoff. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
0.
Come on.
Ignition.
Let's go.
Liftoff.
Here we go, folks.
After the hour.
Get ready. Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready
For the ride of your life.
The show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's the show with no name. It's the show. Let's go.
Welcome. Welcome, folks. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, and welcome back to another exciting edition of The Variety Show. Variety. I want you to pronounce that one with me. Variety. Not variety, right? Variety. It's not an easy one. Variety. Well, folks, this is a variety show. Of course it is. Magazine, I think you say it, deals with a lot of different topics. And you'll hear a wide variety or a wide range of different accents here on Vaughn Radio. Let me just remind you, before this show every day, you've got no excuses with my buddy Fitz. After this program, Ximena Holiday is going to take you and put you to the test, along with Nacho. After that, you've got Tash Pasqua and Back to Basics. And after that, oh no, wait, I skipped the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy. Oh man, how could I forget? And then you've got Back to Basics. Then you've got Let's Get Random with Jules. Then you've got Western Civilization with Guy. I mean, man, you've got a lot of stuff here on Vaughn Radio. And the way you want to make sure you never miss any of your favorite shows, all you have to do is follow us wherever you listen to podcasts or download our free app, folks. It's Vaughn Radio, and this is the show with no name. And we've got some great news today, because today is the day everybody's been waiting for, at least here at Vaughn. Everybody's been waiting for this day, and it is Vaughn Radio Trivia Night.
It's Juan Solo here, and you know something? I'll be hosting the next Bowen quiz at Real Madrid. That will be on April 12th. April 12th, 8:30 at Real Madrid. The Bowen quiz, I'll be the host. I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun. We'll learn just a few things. We'll practice some English, of course, and we'll have a beer, two, three, I don't know. We have no limit. And of course, we can also have chicken with waffles. Alberto loves that. Chicken with waffles. Pollo con gofres. Now you're talking. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there at Real Madrid on April 12th. Bowen quiz. The host, your friend, Juan Solo.
That's right, folks. That's this evening. I suggest you get there around 8, to be honest, to get a good spot, un buen sitio. And fijaos, I didn't say a spot. I said spot. It's a totally different sound, that O. Say it with me. It's so important, guys. You know how much I stress saying things aloud. Spot. Y no tiene muchos usos, right? I spotted an airplane yesterday. I spotted you at the mall. I have a spot on my neck. It's got so many, a parking spot, of course. So just remember, though, it's not a spot. It's, lo has dicho bien, spot. Now, I'm sure the British would probably pronounce it spot. So if you want to get a good spot, if you want to be on a winning team, and believe me, you do, because you get some vouchers, unos vales. You get some vouchers, the winning team, for I don't know, a meal. I don't know if you can get a burger or you can get a main course, but it doesn't matter. You get a meal and a beer if you're on the winning team. A lot of you have been there before. You know what it's all about. It's this evening. It's at Roll Madrid, which is our good friend Kyle Miller. He's one of the partners, uno de los socios. That's a funny word because depending on the context, it can be he runs it with his partner, con su pareja, or he runs it with his partner, su socio. And that could be a double trouble. But folks, it's not time for double trouble. But go tonight if you can make it. If you're in Madrid, we'd love to see you there. And speaking of events, Feria del Libro. Now I can officially, come on. I mean, it's almost here now, right? I mean, it starts May 26th and it ends June 11th. I'm really excited. I can't let the cat out of the bag yet, but I've got some amazing news. And you're gonna wanna be at the Feria del Libro this year. Trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss Feria del Libro. It's May 26th to June 11th. As soon as I have more information about the stand, about my dates, I'll let you guys know. But just know it starts May 26th. It ends June 11th, and I'll be there logically on the weekends. So, and all of us are going to be there. Kyle, and we are excited. But folks, let's get started with today's pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Come on. Yeah, let's go. Pop quiz. Sing it. You better. Come on. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. That's right. That's right, folks. It's our pop quiz only on the show with no name. So if you can't make it to the trivia night, this is your chance to participate. Now, this one is in English. And, well, you know what? I posted this yesterday on my social media. And if you're not following on social media, do that now. It's just a way to get a little mini video. I can guarantee myself I produce a video a day and I give you a little challenge or a little quiz each day as well. So, I mean, that, and obviously you get 2 hours of the show with no name. You get FYI. I mean, the whole shebang. Do you know this expression? Shebangs, shebang. The song by Ricky Martin. The whole shebang is todo, todito. I think might be a nice translation. And as you guys know, I love learning with words. I love playing with words. And this is an expression that, well, I was surprised. I thought more people were going to get it right, since obviously I can judge it by the results. I put them in my stories on Instagram. I also put them on Twitter, the quizzes. The quizzes I don't put on Facebook, just the videos. But either way, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, or you can find everything at my website, albertoalonso.com. Because I think it's the easiest way. Just go there. It's my YouTube. And obviously, follow Vaughn on YouTube. Follow them on Twitter, on Instagram, and my buddies, too, at Vaughn Radio. And if you're doing that, I mean, really, if you're not learning English, I can't help you. Just being honest there. Okay, here we go. Now, this is an expression that, well, let me give it to you in Spanish. In Spanish, because it makes sense. I love it when sometimes they match up, hacen juego. So, golpe bajo. Okay? So, how would we say this? Now, you can say a low blow. Okay? And what does that mean? Well, low is bajo and blow is golpe. Good. We got that down. Golpe bajo, same one. But there's another way to say it. It's something about a belt. So I want you to give me this idiomatic expression, and I obviously want you to use it in context. Okay, so it's an expression that is a synonym for low blow, que es un literalmente golpe bajo. But there's another way to say it. I put it on my social media. So remember, if you're following us on social media, that will give you an advantage too, because, well, you can check your answers and so on and so forth, y etc. All right, well, let's take a look. We've got a lot of comments rolling in our virtual classroom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're tuning in from. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us here on the show with no name, where learning is awesome, exciting, yeah, marvelous. Hey, give me an adjective. Hey, there's a good one. There's a B part. The show with no name, where learning is y pon tu adjetivo. Just out of curiosity. O sea, tenemos dos partes. Let's see who's checking in here. We've got Diego Alonso, a name I know very, very well. What's up, Dad? How's it going? Don Diego. And we were in my dad's village during the Easter break, and magical is that it's not enough. Se queda corto la palabra. I mean, it was amazing seeing my daughter running around where my dad used to run around when he was a kid at her age. So, you know, these kind of things, and enjoying it probably as much as he did. So, and it's a little Hamlet, okay? Like Shakespeare? Well, Hamlet is aldea. So, good morning, Alberto, family and friends. Greetings from Greenwood Lake, New York. What's up, Dad? Now, if my dad can be up and ready to rock, coffee in hand, you guys should be ready too. Let's see who else is ready to rock. Born to Iron Man says, good morning, Alberto, Don Diego, and friends. What's up, Born to Iron Man? Always a pleasure to have you on board with us. Monse says, morning, guys. I hope you had a great Easter. Oh, Monse, magical. I mean, the whole thing, just putting our feet in the water. We were in Almeria for a few days, and it was my daughter's first visit to my dad's village. And it was, as I said, amazing. She went into all the old people's homes because they were like, oh, look at her. And she loves old people, you know. And of course, they gave her cookies. She was playing with turtles. They were giving her presents. I mean, and there were a lot of kids because I guess everybody had kids and now they bring their kids there. So, yeah, lots of fun and a very special trip, to say the least. Let's see who else is on board. There's Chris Valrol. Chris, I hope you're coming to the book fair. She says, morning, how are you doing? I'm doing well, thank you. She says, oh, I wish I lived in Madrid. Well, Chris, we were, speaking of people who know what the trivia night is all about, Chris was there with us. Chris, it was awesome to see you, even though, man, my daughter was sick. I was sick for like a month. Man, it's crazy. Let's see. But hopefully, Chris, you can make it to the book fair. You should come. Trust me. And she says, trivia night is always a great time and great people. Well, the people are you guys and my friends at Vaughn Radio. And you put that together with some good food, some laughs, some learning. I mean, it's the perfect formula. Fijaos. No he dicho formula. I said formula. Formula. Okay? Let's take a look. We've got a lot of comments, guys. Oh, by the way, let's give everybody a nice round of applause for their constant effort. Seriously. I couldn't ask for better students, and you know I'm not kissing up. To kiss up, besar hacia arriba. Tengo que explicarlo. To kiss ass is another way to say it. Laura, what's up? She says, good morning, gorgeous show with no namers. I'm just tuning in to say hello as I won't be able to follow the show live today. Oh, shucks. You know this one? Shucks es recorcholis. You know, it's like an old school way of saying, ay, que pena. Shucks. She says, hopefully tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Laura. Thanks for stopping by or popping by. It means the same thing. Por pasarte, I think you say. Gracias por pasarte. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, we'll miss you, Laura. Take care, no doubt. Monse, let's see. Monse says, he received a low blow below the belt. Is that right? Absolutely. Oh, come on. That's absolutely right, Monse. It's a little, I mean, you don't have to use, what Monse did was, she's like, I'm going to use both of them. But hey, it's great. It's correct. He received a low blow below the belt. So you could say to somebody, oh man, y acuérdate, tan importante la entonación, ¿no? Man, that was a low blow. And a low blow is an unfair criticism, ¿no? Es un criticismo que no, ahí, eso no vale atacar ahí. I think it happened the other day with Valverde, you know, in a Real Madrid match. There were some words exchanged, and I don't know, allegedly things were said that you don't say. I don't know. Again, I'm using an example. So that was below the belt. Ahí no sé, you know, that's not where you hit somebody. I think it makes sense. Both of them. A low blow y por debajo del cinturón. If you think of boxing, right? Oh, that reminds me. I got to do an FYI episode on boxing. Let me write that down. Hey, if I don't write it down, I'll forget it. I'm telling you. So, vamos a practicarlo, pero con la entonación, okay? Oh, that was a low blow. That was below the belt, okay? It's unfair criticism. Monse, excellent job. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, the Messi's transfer. Hang on. The Messi? No. The Messiah, a lo mejor que el Mesías, pero Messi, no usamos el artículo, right? Definido con el sajón. So, Messi's transfer to PSG was below, you got an extra L in there too, right? So, cuidado, tienes below con dos L's y es con una, was below the belt for FC Barcelona, wasn't it? Well, that's a good example. Sure. I don't know the whole situation, as I said, either. So that's the story. Let's see. Who else? Oh, yes. Monse agrees. So, hey, I trust you guys. I don't know too much about Messi's transfer. I got to be honest. I love soccer. I love football, as you call it. But I'm out of the loop, right? You know that one? Out of the loop and in the loop. Manténme al día. Keep me in the loop. I don't want to be out of the loop. No quiero ser el que no sabe. Good expression. And I just wrote it down. A lot of times you guys will see during the show, I jot things down. That means it's coming in a future video. Because I have a little list here of expressions that come up during the show that I think are teachable. They're little moments that we can teach. A pronunciation thing. Like I wrote down kiss up. I also wrote down out of the loop and in the loop. So I'm going to remind you of these in videos down the road because I've already written them down. Now I've got a long list, but hey, every day you can get a free video. I mean, it's a little mini English class, pronunciation, idiomatic expressions, and all of it is free. But also if you're looking for, if you want to take that leap, ese salto, remember, you got a million options at Vaughn. Go to our website. It's grupovaughn.com. you'll find everything and anything. So you'll find lessons. You'll find links to Vaughn Radio, Vaughn's videos on YouTube, everything. And you'll also find out about deals that are going on. Another way, too, to stay in the loop, para usarlo otra vez, to stay in the loop, social media. I mean, sometimes it's on social media before it's on our website, right? We all know that. Anybody who works in project management or IT, marketing, and all that jazz. Let's see. There's Vero. What's up, Vero? She says, good morning, beautiful people. Good to see you all around. Let's have a blast together, shall we? Yeehaw. Lots of love. What's up, Vero? A pleasure to have you with us, as always. There's German. Oh, nice, German. Here we go with those adjectives we were talking about. Ooh, you know I love my adjectives. Hey, they're descriptive words. They are, literally. He says, welcome to the show with no name, where learning is insightful. Ahora, tengo que buscarlo. Esclarecedor, madre de Dios. Esclarecedor. Espera, dame un segundo. So, esclarecedor, profundo, perspicaz. Wow. Germán, thank you. No sé si me van a salir a la primera, but wow. Those are great words. And in English, insightful. So if somebody makes a comment about something, like that was very insightful. No, te lo has pensado antes de decirlo. It was insightful. It added something. And Germán, your adjective was insightful. Let's see. There's my dad. He says, it bypassed the sensorial experience. Marchal, a magical time travel from the top of the world to the 22nd century to Palestine's first century. Yeah, and it's a stone's throw. My dad's village, he's talking about his village, his hamlet. It's a stone's throw from Mojácar and Garrucha, which are very, I don't know if you know that area, that coast. They're very popular areas. In the summer, they're packed over there. San Jose, all of that is not too far. But if you go over the mountain and into the valley, there's my dad's village. It's just nestled. It's literally a river. And the houses are built up along the river banks. But it's a dried up river. It's only a river like twice a year, maybe, when it floods. So, yeah, awesome. Honestly, it was... sometimes, you know, I feel like I'm a guy, especially as a teacher, who has the right adjective for the right moment. But I couldn't put into words bringing my daughter to my father's village and her loving it and saying, when are we going back? So amazing. And we're doing the same. I think I told a lot of you, most of you know, my mom's coming this summer to visit, and we're going to go to Sicily for 2 days, and we're going to see villages where my great-grandparents are from. So Lara's great-great-grandparents. Cada bis es un great. Y great es genial también. I always think of my grandma when I made my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, Grace, I made her a birthday card, and I said, to a great-grandmother, para una abuela genial. And she looked at it and she goes, great-grandmother, bisabuela. ¿Ves? Context is everything. But hey, it reminds me of her. It reminds me of her every time. And that's something that's interesting, the power of words. We always talk about music. We always talk about, smells, but the power of words to bring us to a certain place as well. Hearing a certain word what is a word? A sound. And what is a sound? Music in the end, right? Speaking of music, guys, I can't believe it. We have to go to our first commercial break here on the show with no name. Yep, I know. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm having a blast. So is Elena. Elena's checking in, and she says, good morning, everyone. Present, teacher. You know what the present is? The present is now. The present is you guys. El regalo. Hey, we're playing with words. That's what we do here on the show with no name. We'll be right back. We'll be back in a jiff, como decimos, in a jiff, with the second part of today's show with no name. So, stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, where you have a plethora of programs to help you perfect your English. Now I'm playing with peas. ¿Estoy jugando con guisantes? No, pez. Hey, same word, same sound. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Come on. It's the party. I mean, the English class. Hey, why can't it be a party? We already said you guys bring the presents. I got some presents for you, and your presents is one of my presents. Tu presencia, uno de mis regalos. Hey, they're homophones, and it's not even time for homophones. All right, amigos. So much to do here on the show with no name. Thank you so much for joining us here in the second part of the show. Don't forget, if you want to follow along on social media, you can do that on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, do you need more options? And this way you can interact and you can play along with us. And folks, it's time for today's Say What? Say what? What? It's a Say What soundbite. It's a Say What soundbite. Yeah. All right, amigos, you know how this works. You're going to hear this soundbite 65 times. Just checking. making sure you're paying attention. You're going to hear it 4 times. You're going to get 4 chances to write down every single word you hear. But initially, I just want your opinion in your best English. I want to know what you heard. I'd like you to comment on the accent as well. I always think it's interesting if you can place an accent. Just because you want me to be honest, I'll say it like my British friends say, I'm rubbish at it. No valgo para eso. Because I always say, "Oh, you're Irish." No, mate, I'm from Liverpool. I'm like, ah, man, whatever. I'm really bad at it. I'd like to see if you guys are as good at it, as bad as it, as bad as it as me, whoo, or better than me. All right, here we go. This is the Say What soundbite for the first time. Please write down what you hear. I think this one's going to be relatively easy today.
The last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, and it's really been over the top. And I can't tell you how flattering, embarrassing, and gratifying it has all been.
Now, there's an idiomatic expression in there. There's a lot of great vocabulary. I'm talking adjectives, excellent adjectives. So, and I don't know, I'll give you my opinion. Well, let's hear it a second time, and then I'll share my opinion with you without giving you too much. Here we go, folks. I think it's an easy one today. I think everybody should be able to figure it out. Here we go.
The last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, and it's really been over the top. And I can't tell you how flattering, embarrassing, and gratifying it has all been.
Okay, folks, there you go. I think we can get a lot of information out of it. You can't speak much clearer than that. I mean, that's crystal clear speech. He's, not saying, blah, 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 mumbling or anything like that. I think the person is speaking pretty clearly, and they sound a bit choked up, a bit emotional, if you ask me. All right, let's see. We've got some comments as well. Let's see what you guys had to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts, vuestras opiniones, pensamientos, pero es lo mismo en este caso que opiniones. Monse says, sounds amazing, double A. I can tell you've had a blast in Almeria. Now, hold the phone right there. I just gotta make a little adjustment, un ajuste ahí, because I'm not in Almeria anymore. So it would have to be the past tense. I can tell you had a blast in Almeria. And yes, I did. Thank you. We did. We had a blast in Almeria. And she says, also, you look tanned. Well, yeah, I spent some time on the beach playing with my daughter. And that, I think, just being with my daughter on the beach where I used to play, running around where my dad used to play, and her meeting her cousins and hanging. I mean, that's priceless, right? There's nothing in the world like that. So thank you, Monse. Yeah, thanks for noticing my tan. It was funny too, because we were having some beers and a little appetizer, a tapa, as you call it. We know the word tapa, by the way. And there was a table of like 12 Brits, English people. I didn't know what part of England. I didn't even ask. But what happened was they heard me speaking English. Well, no, actually, the way it started was they were trying to take a selfie of all 12 of them. And my wife said, look, these guiris, she didn't mean it in a bad way. And she said, these guiris over here, why don't you help them out? Échales un cable. She was attending to my daughter at the moment too. And I said, oh, sure. Because she knows I would love to. And I said, hey, you want me to take a picture for you? And they're like, yeah, that would be great. And then I took a picture, and then they said, but what about with the drinks on the table? I'm like, well, I'm sitting right here. Just let me know. Or when I see the drinks come, I'll take another one. And then we were just laughing. And then they started asking me questions, and I felt like I worked for the tourism bureau. So if you're listening, Ayuntamiento de Almería, Turismo de Almería, hey, I'm already working for you. Now pay me or something. Let's make some videos. Let's teach English in some of the most iconic spots in Almeria, where Clint Eastwood and John Lennon walked, and Walt Disney supposedly born in Mojacar. Hey, I don't know. I'm no expert. All right, let's take a look and see what you guys heard in today's Say What soundbite. Monse says, that was an American guy expressing gratitude for all the nice words received, for all the nice words received recently. He's over the top. Monse, great job. The only thing is, I don't know if he's over the top. Well, okay, yeah, I guess you could eufórico, desmesurado, because sometimes over the top can be too much, like exagerado. Man, your response was a little over the top. So I guess in a sense you could say that, over the top, desmesurado. Yeah, okay, sure. And he that's in fact great ear, Monse, because that's the idiomatic expression that he mentions, right? Let's see who else over here. German says, the show with no name, where learning is dainty, therapeutic, and radiophonic. All right. I love it. I love all. The more the merrier. Cuanto más adjetivos, mejor. Let's see. German says, sorry, just practicing my adjectives, double A. Hey, that's what we're here to do, right? Aren't we here to practice? And the word dainty, dainty to me, a ver, es que ahora estoy pensando dainty como delicado. So I think of dainty as a negative one. That's good that you're practicing. So, but delicado, like refinado, I get it. But usually I've heard it, this place is very dainty. The food, las porciones are dainty. So therapeutic, esa es obvia, no? Terapeutic. Bueno, es bueno para relajante, therapeutic, and radiophonic, another one. Chris Valrol says, this man sounds American. Absolutely, North American. He's expressing how flattering he felt. So how flattered, como si él es, here's with adjectives. Here's a little thing. De hecho, lo estoy apuntando para un video, okay? With adjectives, si eres ed, okay? Porque adjetivos, por ejemplo, interested and interesting. If you're interesting, causas interés. ING causa, right? And if you're interested, eres el que recibe, el espectador. So in this case, how flattered he felt, porque él es el que lo ha sentido, because of the beautiful, excessive, in his opinion, words that people told him. Excellent job. Absolutely. Excellent job, ladies. Monse and Chris Valrol knocking it out of the park. Let's see Elena as well. An American man delivering a speech, feeling grateful for all the aid granted. Excellent, Elena. Delivering a speech. Se puede decir to make a speech or to give a speech, pero to deliver, me encanta. Delivering a speech, feeling grateful, right? Appreciative, grateful, thankful for all the aid, que es ayuda. Piensa first aid, primero auxilio, ayuda, granted, prestado. Excellent. Elena, you sound excellent. You sound amazing. All of you sound amazing. What you're doing here is magical. Can you believe it? I said the word magic or magical like 10 times already, and I didn't use the jingle. Man, I guess my head is still in Almeria. But folks, we've got to move on to today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, folks. It's our Spelling Bee, and I think this one's going to be easy compared to some of the ones we've seen recently. So I think this one's going to be a walk in the park. Pan comido. Me encanta esa en español. What is it? It's eating bread. This one's going to be a walk in the park. I imagine everybody will be able to get it. We'll see if you can get it on the first round. If not, don't worry. You get 2 chances for a reason. Use the 2 chances. As you know, I prefer it be correct than, being the first one and having a mistake or 2. So here we go, my amigos, our spelling bee. This is round 1. Here we go. The first word is Potus. The second word is FIRST space HUNDRED space DAYS. The third one is NEW space DEAL. The fourth one is HYDE space PARK. The fifth one is ANNA space ELEANOR space ROOSEVELT. And the last one is GUILLAIN dash BARRE space SYNDROME. I almost didn't make it to the finish line. Casi no llego a la meta. Whoa. All right, let me give you, I like to give you a little clue when possible. So there we go, folks. Here's a clue to get you on your way. This is a song called Hail to the Chief. Ave al jefe. Hail to the Chief. And let's see, it looks like we might have a chief here among us, entre nosotros. Born to Iron Man has taken a stab at it. All right, Born to Iron Man, challenge accepted. That was lightning speed. Let's see if you got the words right. As you know, that's our main concern here. The first one is correct. The second one is correct. The third one is correct. The fourth one is correct. The fifth one is correct. And the sixth one is correct. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. And wait a second, Vero as well. Unfreaking believable. You guys are, I'm telling you, seriously. And Born. I didn't even finish saying them. Is there like a reflection here and you can see my screen? I don't know. Man, that is incredible. Incredible. All right, well, let's go through it a second time. This is for us mere mortals, nosotros los mortales. This is round 2. The first word is Potus. Okay, this is fair. The second one is FIRST space HUNDRED space DAYS. The third one is NEW space DEAL. The fourth one is HYDE space PARK. The fifth one, ANNA space ELEANOR space ROOSEVELT. And the last one, GUILLAIN dash BARRE space SYNDROME. Drome. All right. And I see we've got a lot of other people figuring it out over here. A nice round of applause for our amigos, Chris Valrol, Lupe. Wow. A lot of, hey, you guys are sharp. I can see that you guys have been practicing, or at least, I know Born to Iron Man, a couple days that I was on vacation, when I opened up Twitter, I saw that Born to Iron Man didn't stop. He was participating, even though it was a repeat, he was participating. So you ask yourself, why is he the spelling bee champion? Well, even when we're taking days off, including the teacher, he's not. He's not. All right. So, okay, well, let's take a look at these words. These are all words that had to do with FDR. FDR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but they know him as FDR. Well, today in 1945, he died in office. In office means as president, serving. He died today. And Vice President, or VP, Harry S. Truman, became the president upon his death. No, después de su muerte. So I decided we could take a look at some words that had to do with this president who is generally loved. My grandfather adored him. I mean, he spoke, again, there's always, you know how that works. Usually in history, you're loved or hated, and usually it's by half of the, you know how it works. But in general, in retrospect, he did a lot. Now, like everybody, he had, there were Japanese internment camps in the United States. So that kind of stuff is not good. There's always going to be something that stains your legacy, que marrona, ensucia tu legado. But in general, he was known as a very effective president. And let's take a look at some of the things he did, some of the words that we've associated with him today in the spelling bee. The first one is POTUS. And what is POTUS? Pues seguro cuando él estaba no existía, pero en Twitter, @POTUS is POTUS, as we say, is the president of the United States. FLOTUS, the first lady of the United States, right? So you'll see these a lot on Twitter, it's their handle, right? But it's another way of saying too, the POTUS, right? The president of the United States. He was the 32nd president of the United States from 1933 until his death in 45. And what are the words? The first word we got then was POTUS. The second one is the first 100 days. And he had his first 100 days were quite effective. What he did was, they always judge you by the first 100 days. So it's not just something that has to do with FDR. But his first 100 days, he went on a rampage. He went crazy. I mean, he got Congress, and he basically passed 77 laws in his first 100 days. Now, a lot of these were trying to revive the economy of the United States, because if you did the math, they had some tough times then, right? And he got a series of bills, 15 major bills, and a bill it's like a law. It's the same as a law, actas, legislación, bills, and these were designed to counter the effects of the Great Depression. So he was known as the president who acted quickly to get people out of the Great Depression. And again, my grandfather, why do you think my grandfather respected this man? Well, this man was a war hero, first, but secondly, my grandfather grew up in the Great Depression. I remember him telling me about the Great Depression. That's why he was, he wouldn't let us leave any food. I remember as a pharmacist, he would say, you left 13 milligrams on your, and you're like, holy shit. But, and then he did a lot of public works projects as well. So he had a speech too that he gave after his first 100 days. And also then this is what led the way, or paved the way to the New Deal. And this is not just a skateboard company. Yo me acuerdo. It's the name of a skateboard company. But the New Deal was a series of public works projects. So estos son obras de urbanismo, de carretera, things like this. And he put a lot of people back to work. They improved the roads in the United States. They got, they started really promoting, fomentando growth in a time where it was so important, where the things seemed very bleak. Las cosas estaban muy oscuras, right? Muy desalentadoras, right? They were bleak. So what he did was kind of reactivate not just the economy and jobs but also I think the spirit of the nation. Again, I didn't live during this time. I'm just telling you how history remembers him. I couldn't tell you personally. I'm telling you how my grandfather remembers him. Now, another thing, Hyde Park was our next word. Hyde Park, I believe, is in London, but also Hyde Park is in New York State. It's a town in New York, Hyde Park, and that's where he was born on January 30th, 1882. The next one is Anna Eleanor Roosevelt, and that was his wife and also his cousin. What? Yeah, you heard me. His wife and also his cousin. Well, that's what they did back then. It's weird if you ask me. But yeah, she was the first lady. She was the FLOTUS, and she was, I think, his first cousin twice removed, second cousin twice removed. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly, but they did that kind of stuff back then. I'll never get that. And last but not least, as Chris pointed out, a lot of people said that he got polio. But as people look back, a lot of times they talk about his death and the fact that he was in a wheelchair. And now some experts say maybe, even though they agreed on polio as his cause of death and disability and the reason, and he hid that, by the way, I forgot to mention that, lo escondió del público. But some people say that it is, now experts say that it was Guillain-Barré syndrome that he might have had instead of polio. So again, I'm no expert in any of this stuff, but I do know we've got to go to a quick commercial break, amigos. I can't believe it. Time flies when you're having fun. We'll be right back, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. I can't believe we're halfway through the show. Thank you so much for learning and laughing with me every day here on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to spend this 2-hour period. I said it yesterday, I'll say it today, and I'll say it a million times. Okay, who doesn't love to be on vacation? We all need it. In fact, it does you really good. Te viene bien. But I still miss you guys. But now, we're still connected because of social media. So even if I'm not doing the show, don't worry. You can still learn from the podcasts. You can learn by following on social media because we're always posting content. I post, again, a video a day. Just think of it as a little mini lesson a day, a little reminder, something you can learn on the toilet. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, folks. I see so many people participating in our virtual classroom. You can participate on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? No, Instagram now. Oh, you want more than that? Twitter. Some of our programs are on Twitch. Again, if you're following on social media, we usually share those links. And we also let you know about upcoming events such as the book fair or this evening's trivia with Juan Solo. And I can guarantee you, he's not going to be solo. He's going to be surrounded by his amigos, my amigos, your teachers and fellow students here at Vaughn Radio. That's this evening, and it's Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. But guess what, folks? It's time to move on to today's homophone.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with homophones. Show with no name.
That's right, amigos. That's right. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And remember, this is a part of the show where we look at words that may or may not sound alike. And a lot of times you'll see these in my videos as well. I think just the other day we looked at dull and dull. Esa es difícil, ¿eh? Dull, aburrido o sin punta, que no corta. Dull and dull, right? That dull is dull. No son homófonos. So if you want to look at those little pronunciation things, I think that's important too. When you watch the videos, you can see my mouth. I try and say it slowly, and then I say it at the normal pace. So what am I getting at? Follow me on social media. All right, the first word is necesitar. It's a very common verb, and I know you know this verb. Okay? Necesitar. It's also a noun, and the noun is una necesidad. No? So necesitar and una necesidad. Okay? The second word is amasar. Eñir. I haven't heard eñir. So it's to massage, dar un masaje, dough, to massage dough. And dough is, ¿cómo se dice? Dough, masa. Claro, amasar. So those are your two words. If you said necesito o tengo que amasar la masa, how would you say that? Would those two words sound exactly the same or not? Also, I owe you guys another listen of today's Say What soundbite. This is the Say What soundbite for the third time. Jot down what you hear.
The last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, and it's really been over the top. And I can't tell you how flattering, embarrassing, and gratifying it has all been.
All right, folks, definitely somebody who is moved, conmovido, somebody who, they're definitely feeling something there, right? And they're choked up. Right? Choked up, emocionado. All right, let's take a look here in our chat room and see what you guys got over here. My dad says, a master bricklayer. Your great-grandfather, Nicola Lembo, spent 3 years without a job. Oh, yeah, even skilled workers couldn't get a job in the Great Depression. And my grandfather, I mean, that was a big part of his life, was having lived through that period. It made him the person he was, so there's no doubt that it left a mark on people, and a huge one. And obviously my grandfather and many people came out stronger, but a lot of people didn't. You know how that works. All right, let's see. Diego Alonso, hey, I know this guy. He says, we went from the Belle Epoque to world depression, or crazy 20s to global depression. Yeah, the roaring, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was called the roaring 20s. Rugiendo, porque todo iba de viento en popa. Everything was smooth sailing. Chris says, I don't think endogamy or inbreeding is a good idea. Look at the Bourbons. Oh my God. Yeah. I always think of it this way. There are so many people in this world. Why do you gotta have, you're gonna date your cousin? Vas a salir con tu, it's weird. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. I think there's so many other fish in the sea. And then if you're going to breed, procrear, well, then that's called inbreeding, and your children could be inbred. And that's not a good word. You don't want to be called that or be that, I imagine. And yeah, I did some research on that, Chris. And look up the Habsburg jaw, la mandíbula Habsburgo. Man, it's not if you ever think inbreeding is a good idea, just take a look at the Habsburg jaw. And I'm not trying to laugh at anybody's physical appearance at all, but I think it's just a poster for don't sleep with your cousins, your sisters, your brother, just don't, if you can't keep it in your pants, don't keep it in the family, All right, let's see. Let's change gears. Elena says the words, and those are the correct words. Elena, you are on fire today, I gotta say. Now let's see if she's right. She says the correct words, and she says they're definitely homophones. Elena's like, are you kidding me? Of course they're homophones. All right, well, Born to Iron Man, he says they sound alike, and those are the correct words. German says they're definitely homophones. Okay. And Monse agrees as well. And anybody else? Lupe says they sound alike. Does anybody disagree? Chris says, I'd say they're homophobic. Okay, so it is unanimous right now. You guys are sure that the word necesitar and amasar sound exactly the same. Okay, what do I need to do now? Es otra forma de decir, what do I have to do? Es más común decir have to porque sale mejor. Have to. What do I have to do now? Ni decimos have to. What do I have to? What do I have to do now? What do I need to do? Okay, es una cosa es como está escrito, otra cosa como lo decimos. Okay, so you need to knead the dough. Nice job. You need to knead the dough. That's right. So the first word is need. Yo creo que esa es fácil. I have needs. Yo tengo necesidades. Right? Well, you're needy. And that's not a good thing. If you're needy, it is como, necesitas atención a todo. Right? Don't be needy. A ver cómo lo ponen aquí. Eres como alta, high maintenance. If you're needy, dependiente, demandante. Don't be needy. It's good to need things, and it's good to feel needed, right? And it's good to knead dough. Oh, yeah, it's therapeutic. Speaking of the word German mentioned before, sure. Have you ever? My daughter and I, we have Play-Doh. Escúchame. My daughter and I, es de ella. But Daddy plays with Play-Doh too, because it is very relaxing. It's soothing. Trust me, guys. If you haven't played with Play-Doh in a while, it's nice. Make some pizza dough, make some bread this afternoon, and it's actually a nice way to relieve some stress, to blow off some steam. So remember this sentence: I need to knead the dough. And that need, the second one, amasar, is K-N-E-A-D. Okay, K-N-E-A-D. And they're both regular verbs. So I needed to knead the dough that he kneaded before. Que necesitó o que amasó. Obviously, in context, you would know. All right, so there's another homophone there, though. Let's see if anybody knows that one. All right, so I already said need. Well, you guys said need is necesitar, necesidades. Need, amasar. All right, I'm going to give it to you. I can't believe you just need him in the balls. Contexto es todo. Ow, oh, ow, 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 ow. I can't believe you just need him in the balls. Dar un rodillazo? Maybe that, I think that, no sé, I'm just guessing there. To knee somebody es un verbo. Es la palabra rodilla, pero también es verbo. Entonces, si añadimos una de es need. So there's a triple homophone there. Excellent job, folks. As always, kicking ass and taking names. Arrasando. And folks, it's time to move on to Name That Movie. Name That Movie. Grab your popcorn, folks, and let's grab our seats. Se usa el grab muchísimo, coger, agarrar. Let's grab our seats because the movie is about to begin. All right, let's take a look at today's trailer. Let's see if you recognize our movie. If not, no sweat. I'll give you all the information after. We'll learn from the trailer, the synopsis. We'll also learn from some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And then we'll go through a scene so we can look at some dialogue as well. And don't underestimate those stage directions, esas indicaciones al actor. So much can be learned from them because those are actions in the end. All right, so here we go. During the era of prohibition in the United States, federal agent Elliot Ness sets out to stop ruthless Chicago gangster Al Capone, and because of rampant corruption, assembles a small, hand-picked team to help him. All right? During the era of prohibition in the United States, durante la era de prohibición, de cuando no se pudo beber alcohol, prohibition, prohibir, ¿no? Os tengo que enseñar esa, no. Prohibition, bueno, la pronunciación es diferente. To prohibit something, it's prohibited. During prohibition, alcohol was prohibited. Okay? And what did it do? Create a need, toma, necesidad, a demand. So during the era of prohibition in the United States, federal agente federal, Elliot Ness, if you know it, you know it, sets out to, se dedica, no, tiene el plan de, emprende a hacer algo. He sets out to stop ruthless Chicago gangster. And the word ruthless, I think it's despiadado. Let me check 1 second. Ruthless, despiadado, implacable, inflexible. Ruthless Chicago gangster Al Capone. And because of rampant corruption, and rampant es muchísima, a tope. Vamos a buscarla. I like to learn these words in Spanish too. Desenfrenado. Ah, claro. ¿Ves? He visto la palabra, pero no asocié las dos. So rampant, de incontrolado, descontrolado, desenfrenado. So because of rampant corruption, y ojo, no es corruption, corruption, he assembles, junta, he assembles, es también montar, you assemble furniture. He assembles a small, hand-picked, escogido a mano. Lo mismo, hand-picked team to help him. And folks, it looks like we've got some winners. Please give it up for Chris Valrol and her buddy Born to Iron Man. And they said the flick is The Untouchables. Now, did you call it Los Intocables? Was that the name in Spanish? You never know. La historia de Elliot Ness. Hey, could be. All right, well, let's take a look at these a scene. Well, first, let's take a look at some behind the scenes stuff from this movie that came out in 1987. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, what a great movie based on an amazing story. It was directed by Brian De Palma and written by David Mamet. And David Mamet is one of my favorite writers. I met him in New York City. It stars Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Robert De Niro, Andy Garcia. I mean, the list of the cast is just a stellar cast. And again, if you haven't seen this movie in English, you really haven't seen it, because one of the most interesting things about these kind of mobster or gangsters, otra forma de decir gangster, one of the coolest things about these movies, The Sopranos included, is the way they speak. Their accent, their cadence. It's like an Italian American kind of thing, which is a really cool sound. All you have to do is listen to some of my mom's family, right, Dad? Hey, get this guy. What is this guy doing over here? Get him out of here. Yeah, I love it. To me, it sounds like home. We're not gangsters, but we're Italian Americans, and well, so are they. If we didn't copy them, they copied us. So excellent stuff. Yes, Chris confirms it's the same name, Los Intocables. And there was an envelope, if you remember the movie. You can say envelope or envelope, that was dropped on Elliot Ness's desk in one scene, if you remember the movie. So dejan en la mesa de trabajo. And it is assumed to be a bribe. Do you know this word? Bribe es sobornar. So a bribe es un soborno, y el verbo es to bribe. Y es verbo regular. He bribed him? Well, he's not going to bribe me. Bribery doesn't work with me. So it was dropped on his desk. They assumed it was money. It was for a bribe, but the amount inside is never revealed. In real life, Al Capone promised Elliot Ness that two $1,000 bills, dos billetes de $1,000, would be on his desk. We don't say at, we don't say in, on, encima de, on his desk every Monday morning. So cada lunes, you get there, long weekend. I spent a lot of money. Oh, hey, whoa, there we go. If he turned a blind eye, ¿te suena? To turn a blind eye, mirar hacia el otro lado. Hacer la vista gorda, I think you say. If he turned a blind eye to Al Capone's bootlegging enterprises, activities, right? Rackets. A racket es, claro, algo de tenis, pero también es un negocio ilegal. So, and bootlegging es, ahora tiene otro sentido. Bootleg ahora es copia pirata. But back then, bootleg licor, alcohol, bootleg, era el de la prohibición. You know why? Because they would hide it en la parte de la bota que estaba en la pierna. So that's where that word comes from. Very interesting word, bootleg. And it's called bootlegging. Now bootlegging can be movies, can be anything, but it originally came from carrying the alcohol in your bootleg. I love when they have those little stories behind it. And this movie is full of those interesting stories. Well, that would have been, in today's money, adjusted for inflation, $30,000. So imagine you come into work every Monday morning, 30,000 big ones, $30,000 sitting on your desk there, just waiting to be grabbed. Man, that's pretty tempting. But Elliot Ness, as we know, refused the bribe. And the interesting turn of events is that in later years in his life, he struggled with money. He couldn't make ends meet. no llegó a fin de mes. He couldn't make ends meet. And he died at 54 con 54. At 54, almost broke. Okay, and broke no es roto en este caso, porque eso sería broken. Broke es sin un duro. So with no money. So that's pretty crazy. He could have taken the money and run, but he didn't do that. And it's interesting too, because, well, this in real life, Al Capone knew that killing a prohibition agent would only lead to more trouble. And so he had kind of an order, if you will, to his crew, to his men, saying that nobody could touch them. Obviously, that's why they were called the untouchables. And they tried many times to bribe them, to buy them off, but they were untouchable. So it's got many different meanings, as you can see. And another interesting thing, Albert Wolff was the last real survivor of that group, the last surviving member of the Untouchables. And he was a consultant on the movie, and he worked with Kevin Costner on portraying Elliot Ness. And to portray is interpretar, dar vida a. Let's take a look here. Malone is talking privately in a church, and he goes, "You said you wanted to get Capone. Do you really want to get him? ¿Le quieres coger de verdad? You see, what I'm saying is, what are you prepared to do?" And Elliot Ness says, "Anything within the law, cualquier cosa dentro de la ley, anything within the law." And Malone says, "And then, what are you prepared to do?" Como, ahí no acaba, venga más. And then, what are you prepared to do? Muy importante donde ponemos el énfasis ahí. "If you open the can on these worms, you must be prepared to go all the way." Two expressions. To open a can of worms means abrir la caja de Pandora. And to go all the way es ir a por todas. Okay? Because they're not going to give up the fight. No van a dejar de luchar until one of you is dead. Hasta que uno muera. And Ness says, "I want to get Capone. I don't know how to do it." And Malone says, "You want to know how to get Capone? They pull a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue, al funerario. That's the Chicago way. And that's how you get Capone. Now, do you want to do that? Are you ready to do that? I'm offering you a deal. Te estoy ofreciendo un acuerdo, un trato. Do you want this deal? ¿Quieres este trato?" And Ness says, "I have sworn." He hecho un juramento, he jurado. ¿Juramiento? Bueno, he jurado. No me meto en líos. I have sworn, viene del verbo swear. Swear, swore, sworn. Como llevar puesto wear, wore, worn. Pues si le añadimos ese, lo mismo. Swear, swore, sworn. I have sworn to capture this man with all legal powers at my disposal. ¿Te suena? A mi disposición. At my disposal. And I will do so. Y lo haré. I will do so. And Malone says, "Well, the Lord hates a coward." Pues el Señor odia a un cobarde. Coward, no coward, coward. And Ness shakes hands with him. And Malone says, "Do you know what a blood oath is, Mr. Ness?" And an oath es una promesa, no? An oath. It's the same as a promise. De sangre. "Do you know what a blood oath is, Mr. Ness?" And he says, "Yes." He says, "Because you just took one." So awesome movie. The dialogue is excellent. That's one of the reasons I love David Mamet as a writer. He writes the way people speak. Folks, we've got to go to our final commercial break. I can't believe it, really. We've got so much to do and so little time. But we'll be right back with tons more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the Untouchable Show with No Name. And I'm not saying it because of me, by the way. Untouchable because you guys as students. Untouchable. Unbelievable. Unrestricted. Unreal. Surrealista. Unreal. Puede ser surrealista. Y también, man, that's unreal. Chulísimo. It's interesting, isn't it? One word can mean so many things, depending on the context, of course. Welcome back. Welcome back, my amigos, to this, the fourth and final part of today's show. Don't forget, you've got Cemena Holiday and Test Your English right after today's show. After that, you've got the Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. Back to Basics with Tosh Pasqua. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. Western Civilization with Guy Williams. The Salad with David Boyes. And Drive Time with Kyle Miller. Oh, yeah. It's all free. It's on Vaughn Radio. Follow us on social media to keep abreast of what's going on in the Vaughn world. Also, don't forget, we've got a website. It's grupovaughn.com. And if you're looking for materials, vaughntienda.com. Or just wait till the book fair. It's right around the corner. All right, well, folks, we've got so much to do, so let's get right back into the swing of things with today's Double Trouble. Double trouble. Double trouble, baby. Come on, baby, baby.
Yeah, you know what time it is.
Baby. Come on, baby, baby. Come on, baby, baby.
Double trouble.
Come on, baby, baby.
I said double. Double trouble. Double. Double trouble. I said double. Double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the Show with No Name. And let's take a look at what we've got in store for you on this Double Trouble. The way this works is quite simple. I give you a translation, but you've got to use the same word twice in this translation. It's a way of taking words with many meanings and making them fun instead of making them, oh my God, it means that too? Well, what if we make it fun? What if we make it a way to associate certain words? Even if it's a silly association, your brain will remember it if you want it to. It's in your hands. Let's see how you guys do. Si no te despiertas, no llegaremos al velatorio a tiempo. Wow. Si no te despiertas, no llegaremos al velatorio a tiempo. Okay? So, funeral es la parte cuando te entierran, when they bury you. But there's the part where, you know, you're on display. Ahí estás y te ven y viene la familia. A little bit different, at least in the United States. This is the part, the pre-funeral, if you will. So, si no te despiertas, no llegaremos al velatorio a tiempo. That is today's Double Trouble. Good luck. We'll see how you guys do. I'm sure somebody's going to figure it out. And speaking of figuring it out, nobody has figured out today's Say What soundbite yet, which is odd because I think it's an easy one. All right, well, here it is for the fourth and final time.
The last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, and it's really been over the top. And I can't tell you how flattering, embarrassing, and gratifying it has all been.
All right. There you go. There you go, amigos. That's your fourth and final listen. I'm quite surprised. Maybe somebody got it and I missed it, or maybe the comments are censored. That happens a lot here too. And sometimes nobody knows why. We're talking about, 3 Mile Island or something, and you can't talk about that. What? Why? Well, now you made me curious. Now you've piqued my interest. All right, let's take a look, folks, at today's Double Trouble. Si no te despiertas, no llegaremos al velatorio a tiempo. The first one to take a stab at it is German. And German says, if you don't wake up, so far, so good. Me gusta. Hasta ahora bien. If you don't wake up, we won't make to the wake on time. All right, I'm going to give you an applause there, but I got to make a little adjustment. A little tweak. Un ajuste. A little adjustment, a little tweak. If you don't wake up, we won't make it to the wake on time. Me gusta que estás usando el make como llegar a asistir, acudir. But just be careful, it's to make it. I couldn't make it to your party yesterday. I'm really sorry. I hope I can make it next time. So tiene que ir con el it, pero muy bien, Germán. If you don't wake up, we won't make it to the wake on time. Let's see if anybody got it perfect over here, but excellent effort there, Germán. And it's great because you made a mistake, but you made a mistake because you were trying to use it in a different way. So that's not a mistake. You catch my drift? Chris Valrol says, if you don't wake up, we won't make it to the wake on time. Nice job, Chris. Perfect. Elena, if you don't wake up, we won't get to the wake on time. Excellent. That works as well. So to get to somewhere, to make it to somewhere, fijaos, cada uno es un poco diferente. Let's see. Lupe says, if you don't wake up, we won't make it to re-week on time. I see two mistakes there. I don't know what you mean, and weak es débil, not wake. So tendría que ser la misma palabra. So Lupe, I don't like to use it, but I know some of you love this. This one's dedicated to Kubla. He loves this sound. All right. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, if you don't wake up, we won't make it to the wake on time. All right. Excellent job, guys. And we've also got somebody who's figured out our Say What soundbite. She is on it today. Please give it up for your classmate, Chris Valrol. And I think as a reward, vaya reward, I think it's time for your joking.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking. Wake me up before you go cold. Not on leaving, on hanging solo. Wake me up. Wake me up. Oh, and by the way, wake up is different than get up. Okay? Because on the weekend, you wake up a little bit earlier, but hopefully you can get up a little bit later. You catch my drift? To wake up, abrir los ojos. To get up es físicamente levantarse, right? So, all right. Well, my amigos, and wake up, woke, woken, right? And anything else I wanted to say about that? Yeah, we call it awake. So I'm going to awake. I hope you're awake. O sea, ahí es con artículo. So, la primera, I'm going to awake. Voy a un velatorio. I hope you're awake. Despierto. Eso es una palabra. So that sounds the same, but they're spelt a little bit different in that second example. All right, let's take a look at another place where we play with words, and it's our joke section over here. Let's take a look at what we have now. As always, I'm going to tell you these jokes, and we'll see if you get them or not. If not, I always end up explaining them in the end. Why shouldn't you invest in funeral homes? Okay. ¿Por qué no deberías? So, fijaos, la L no lo he pronunciado. I didn't say should. Why shouldn't? Shouldn't. Why shouldn't you invest in? No, I've heard students say invertir, no? Invest in funeral homes. Well, easy. It's a dying industry. It's a dying industry. No. All right. I thought it was funny. A dying industry? All right. Well, dying, like, es una industria de muerte, dying industry, but also dying que está en decaída, está perdiendo. Right? It's dying, está perdiendo su fuerza. It's a dying industry. Well, hey, well, what do you want me to say? People are dying to get into this industry. Well, it's a huge undertaking. Undertaking? Tarea. Pero también an undertaker es un director funeral. That's a triple joke there, folks. Did you get that triple joke? That's 3 in 1. Oh, there's our funeral march. Let's be solemn for our next joke. So you got it, right? A dying industry. They're dying to get into it. It's a huge undertaking. The Undertaker, los que os gusta wrestling, el pressing catch. Es una tarea difícil. Okay, so what do undertakers spend their days doing? ¿Qué se pasan el día los directores de funeralias? So what do they, undertakers, spend their days doing? Oh, simple. Coffin. No. I did the doing on purpose so you would get it, just to drive it home there. Doing, coffin. So let me repeat it. I'm sure a few of you got it there. What do undertakers spend their days doing? ¿En qué se pasan el día haciendo? Doing. Porque yo nunca diría esa G, ni mi hija. Coffin. Ok, se puede decir coughing, tosiendo, coughing, pero también coffin, si añadimos, omitimos esa G, suena como ataúd. C-O-F-F-I-N, suena como coffin. They spend their days coughing. All right, last one. I promise. You're getting like 5 or 6 puns today. All right, for all those days that I wasn't here, I know you were missing my joke, so I'm just making up for it. What kind of coffee do they serve at funerals? What kind of coffee do they serve at funerals? Oh, that's easy. You don't know? Burial grounds. Burial grounds? No? Well, a burial ground or burial grounds is a cemetery or a graveyard. Cementerio, camposanto. A burial ground. Burials de enterrar. So you bury somebody in a burial ground. You get it now? Well, I guess you need to know the other meaning of the word ground. Fresh ground coffee, recién molido. Fresh ground coffee, so burial ground. What kind of coffee do they serve at funerals? Burial grounds. Oh, and it's a nice roasted berry flavor. Well, la palabra berry, enterrar, and berry, moras, fresas frutas del bosque, sound the same. So how many puns did we get there? Well, the important thing is that you guys got the jokes, and hopefully you'll be able to tell them to somebody else. But folks, it's time to move on. We've got so much to do. So let's move on to a little celebration that we have every day here on the show with No Name. It's famous birthday trivia.
For you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Oi, oi, oi. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And here we're going to see who's celebrating a birthday today. More importantly, if you're able to figure out who these people are. The first one, my dad is going to know instantly. In fact, I discovered this guy through my dad. So, Dad, if you're here with us, this one's for you. I know you're going to get a kick out of it. Y la expresión to get a kick out of it is te vas a reír, te va a hacer gracia, ¿no? Te vas a divertir. And so we'll dedicate. Let's go through it, and we'll see if you guys know him. Now, again, if it hadn't been for my dad, I wouldn't know who this person is. But he was a guy who was born today in 1932, an American singer and ukulele player. Are you with me, Dad? He died in 1996. His real name, I'm going to give it to you because you might not even know his stage name. His real name, Herbert Boutros Khoury. Okay, but he was known professionally by another name. And again, a ukulele player, and he loved playing instruments. He was a multi-instrumentalist, but really he got famous playing the ukulele and for his falsetto voice. And his signature song was Tiptoe Through the Tulips, Through the Garden, la, la, la. I know. So to tiptoe is ir de puntillas, tiptoe. And he had a very popular song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. My dad sings it beautifully. As I said, songs, words, they remind you of people. And this was a hit in 1968. You've got to listen to it. It's now you would be like, how could this ever be popular unless it was like a meme on YouTube or something, like some funny video. And so, yeah, the 1968 hit, which my dad knows very, very well, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, Through the Garden, la, la, la. He was always on the late night shows, and he got discovered down in the Village in New York City, in Greenwich Village. And he was original, I guess you could say that, but he was just this big, tall guy, lanky, tall guy, looked like a monster a little bit, long hair, and he sang in a falsetto voice, and he spoke very funny. So, yeah. Next up, this person was born in 1956, a Cuban-American actor, director, and producer. He rose to prominence in The Untouchables in 1987 alongside Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, and Robert De Niro. That was today's Name That Movie. He was also in The Godfather Part 3, and he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Vincent Mancini. And he's been in so many movies. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, Ocean's 13, The Lost City, New York, I Love You, The Mule, Father of the Bride, Mamma Mia, Kill the Messenger. And I've always been a fan of this guy as an actor. He's an intense actor, but he's got charisma at the same time. All right. And last but not least, we just mentioned late night shows. Well, this guy is, okay, number one, I would say Johnny Carson. Dad, you can agree or disagree here. Johnny Carson, the king of late night, at least American style late night. Then came this guy. And then there's another guy called Jay Leno, who I don't even think should be on the list. He's like, hey, seriously, folks, we're having a great time here. He's not funny. He's just like, look at me being funny kind of guy, But Conan O'Brien, I put him on that list. I put a lot of people, there are a lot of great late night hosts, but this guy's number 2 on my list. And he owes a lot of his, so much to the people who paved the way, people such as Johnny Carson. And I was so lucky I went to go see this guy's show all the time because I lived nearby, and they would give out tickets in Times Square for free, to be a part of the studio audience. And I went anytime I could. All right, folks, I'm taking a look over here. We've got a winner. Please give it up for Chris Valrol. I'm going to do it in falsetto here. So happy birthday to Tiny Tim, Andy Garcia, and David Letterman. David Letterman. And that brings us to our Say What soundbite, which also Chris Valrol figured out. David Letterman, one of my personal favorites. In fact, I really didn't live through the Johnny Carson era. So I watched all the Johnny Carson stuff after the fact. So really this is, my reference as a late night talk show host. And this guy, David Letterman, this is him signing off. It's the last show, and what was the song? Yeah, Everlong by the Foo Fighters was played. And he goes, the last 6 weeks since they announced that the show was going to be on a break, the last 6, not on a break, was ending, right? He wasn't going to be hosting it anymore. And so he says, the last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, cosas bonitas, preciosas sobre nosotros. And it's really been over the top. Realmente ha sido excesivo. And I can't tell you how flattering, halagante, voy a mirar esta, flattering, aquí lo tenemos. How flattering, halagador, ahí casi, How flattering, embarrassing, se siente hasta avergonzado, and gratifying it has all been. So this is one of my personal, one of the reasons I love entertainment and interviews, and it's the one and only David Letterman signing off on his final program.
The last 6 weeks, it's been crazy. People have been saying lovely things about us, and it's really been over the top. And I can't tell you how flattering, embarrassing, and gratifying it has all been.
All right, folks, and now it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. I think the song is... No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name, the show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, folks. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And that's for you guys. Thank you for all your hard work. My dad says, did Tiny Tim really die? Not in our hearts. Never in our hearts. And I can tell you now, Dad, we're going to dedicate this to you because I know you love this song. And maybe we'll get my dad. Dad, can you send us? And we can play it on the show tomorrow. I'm sure we would love that. If you sent us a voice message, I can put it on the show tomorrow. Would you guys like to hear from my dad tomorrow on the show? All right. Plus, tomorrow you're going to hear the Simpsons teaser. I'm very proud of it because I was able to put 5 different sound effects or catchphrases in the FYI intro, my podcast FYI, which this week is on the Simpsons. So I'll give you a preview of that tomorrow as well. So this is Tiptoe Through the Tulips, tiptoe through the tulips, through the garden. Let's take a look at the lyrics. To tiptoe es ir de puntilla. Piensa, tip es la punta and toe es el dedo del pie. Tiptoe. Tiptoe through the window, por la ventana. By the window, cerca de la ventana. That is where I'll be, donde yo estaré. That is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips, tulipanes, with me. Oh, tiptoe from the garden, by the garden of the willow tree. Willow tree, ahí estamos aprendiendo mucho de la naturaleza. Sauce, I believe, right? A willow or weeping willow, which is a bit different, I believe. We keep the showers away. No, well, first he says, knee deep in the flowers we'll stray. o sea, de hasta las rodillas en flores, pues deambularemos. We'll stray. We'll keep the showers away. It's a beautiful song if you think about it. But if you haven't heard it, you're about to hear it now. This is Tiny Tim and Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Thank you so much for being here today and every day. It's an absolute pleasure. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, tiptoe through the window, by the window,